This video shows how I use UDFs in SQL Server to simulate views. And that approach will allow us to just convert each view as it is and more easily convert and make these complex nested queries. So the first concept I want to show is how to make a UDF that's a view. And here's a good example. This is a query that is based on a query that links to another query. And this query happens to have its own parameters. And what I want to show is that query and the parameters it has and how I make a UDF for that. So this is the MOFTE query. We'll run it. We'll see it's got 2,241 records. And we can see it's just a select from a table with a criteria. So I've already made that UDF, and I'll explain how I made that UDF. You could simply copy and paste SQL, but I took a simpler approach. So I'm going to go ahead and modify this UDF that I've already created, and you can see there's the parameter, end date. It's a varchar. An example would be year, month, for instance. We'll talk about a better convention there later, but that's just to clarify what it is. So the SQL is similar. It could be the same as what I've done in Access, but instead of just grabbing the fields TK init and FTE, I'm grabbing all. And you know, actually, let's scratch that. Let's actually grab. Let's make it look just like that view. And this could be done with cutting and pasting, but given the different naming conventions for the table, it's just as easy for me to. And there's so few fields. I'll do it like that. Now notice I am still selecting from a table. This comp year to date 2001. There's embedded spaces, so I cover it with brackets. That is a table right here. Although I think it'd be better to make it a view, so that way. If this table changes, which is obviously going to change, then all those changes could happen in a view. But for now, let's just do a straight conversion and base it on the view. And here's where the magic happens. This is the conversion, which you've already done in some other stored procedures. This is this expression based on the parameter. So instead of it being on a variable, on a form for instance, it's based on this parameter end date. So that's it. And the great thing about UDFs with a parameter is you can select from them. And I'm going to do that. And I thought I had an example, but so you can say select star from, drag this guy over. I'm going to surround it in brackets so it's got some embedded spaces. And then I'm going to put in the parameters such as 2012-03. And why did it fail? It failed because I think I put the square bracket in the wrong place. I see why this is failing. This SQL is being run from the master database instead of finance reporting. So that solved it. You can see now it's based on finance reporting. It's based on finance reporting. So this is how I did it. Select from a UDF with a parameter. And we'll see that there's 2,241 rows. So what that shows is a UDF that simulates this parameterized view. Now the good part about that is this UDF can be used in a view, which I've done. and it can be used graphically. So let's see what view I made. And I think I just called it, yeah, I called it this one. Basically, I could have used the exact name and pasted the SQL, but I just want to show you the concept of the view. And I'm going to go into Design View because I want to see it graphically. And so what you have is something very similar to the query we took it from. Now, I'm actually linking to the main table because I didn't want to deal with a whole bunch of nested queries. But the concept is that the table or query links to this UDF, whereas before it was linking to this view. And the way that I was easily able to, so that's the concept. And so you can see it's linking from the table, join, and here's the function with the parameter. And then I called it as comp so I could refer to it later on the join as opposed to pasting this information all over again. So this is the end result, and it returns 900,000 queries, so I won't run it, but that's the end result. Now what you'd have is you'd have a UDF linked to a UDF linked to another UDF linked to another UDF. So what we're going to have is a whole bunch of UDFs, one for each query. But so anyways, that's what we'll have. Now what I'm going to do is in the next video I'm going to show how I made this query linking to a UDF from graphically.